Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. We begin this week's recap of last week's tech news with a terrible announcement. This tech news show, as we know it, will cease to exist. For nearly 3 weeks, we will have 2 consecutive tech newsless Sundays until the coming of June, whereupon the show will be reborn from its own ashes, harder, stronger, and with sarcasm even less thinly veiled than ever before. But fear not, for between now and then, I'll still be posting lots of videos as we travel to Taipei, Taiwan for Computex 2025, where we'll be meeting with vendors and checking out new hardware and pretending everything is normal. But let's face it, things are far from normal, and there were multiple examples of that this week, such as Nvidia making some interesting choices for the upcoming RTX 5060 launch, AseTek finally loosening their 20-year grip on the AIO market due to their patent expiring, and Intel getting gamers' hopes up before letting them down yet again, which I guess is pretty normal after all. We're heading into a drought, so today, make sure to drink your fill of tech news. Cheers.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by Thermaltake's View 380 XL tempered glass ARGB mid-tower chassis with an innovative dual-chamber design and angled front intake to direct airflow towards components, keeping even power-hungry high-end PC builds cool while maintaining an unobstructed view. Hey, that's why it's called the View 380. Keep things clean with hidden connector motherboard support, keep cool with 4 included ARGB fans and multiple radiator mount locations for up to 360mm AIOs, and have fun building with plenty of room for cable management and added storage. For more on the View 380 XLTG ARGB from Thermaltake, click the sponsor link in the video description. Tech reviewers across the globe were up in arms this week, such as Jay's 2 Cents and Hard Steve Unboxed, after Nvidia confirmed that their next newest 50 series video card, the RTX 5060 non-TI edition, will be launching on May 19th for $299 MSRP. Sounds like a great deal to me, so what mewling complaints could Jilted Jay and Suspect Steve possibly have? Oh, sorry, apparently May 19th is right in the middle of Computex week, and that might make it hard for reviewers who are at the show and not at home to run benchmarks. Well, so sorry for the inconvenience, reviewers, but Nvidia probably just missed that little scheduling conflict when they set the launch date. I mean, it's not like Computex is the biggest show in the industry that happens in late spring every year and has had Jensen signed up to deliver a keynote since January. These mistakes happen naturally. And sure, maybe Nvidia said that they aren't providing drivers to reviewers until launch day, so day zero buyers will have zero idea of what kind of performance or lack thereof to expect from the 5060, which is outfitted with a generous 8GB supply of VRAM. But drivers are overrated anyway. I mean, they're basically free, right? I mean, you can just go download them. But do reviewers thank Nvidia for that? No, they ask, why is Nvidia blocking reviews? And why is Nvidia being deceptive and hiding the 5060's performance? Because f*** you, that's why. You wouldn't even have video cards if it wasn't for Nvidia, so stop your bitching, show some respect, and suck Nvidia's big fat market cap if you don't like it. With that said, one moment, quick phone call. Yeah, it's done. Yes. Yes, I told them to suck the, Jilted Jay, Suspect Steve, just like you said. My family is okay, right? And the robot clones that are hunting down and replacing my closest friends, those are called off too? Okay, all right. Yeah, I agree, it is kind of a weird launch. All right, okay, see you in Taipei. Right, speaking of blackmail and skullduggery, AseTek, the company that has owned a patent on the combination pump block design for all-in-one liquid coolers since 2005, saw that patent expire Tuesday, which is why so many of your friends are just now getting into DIY liquid cooler assembly and sales. The past 20 years saw would-be AIO cooler manufacturers falling into 3 categories: those who paid AseTek for licensing or direct purchase of their OEM designs, those who AseTek sued or settled with when they attempted to ignore the patent, and those who skirted the patent by relocating the pump, adding an extra tube, or otherwise modifying the integrated pump and block design. AseTek was often accused of leaning on its patent and focusing more on enforcing it via legal means to maintain profitability instead of innovating with new products, but if that were true, they would probably just give up on AIOs entirely now that they've lost the advantage that the patent provided. So it's no surprise that AseTek says there's a third party interested in buying out the cooling hardware division of their company entirely, or that they are considering pivoting to a focus on data center cooling, leaving the consumer market behind now that it has been sucked dry, which likely caused the pump to fail. Can't let your pump run dry. Speaking of going in dry, the RX 9060 XT, which has been heavily rumored in recent weeks, was spotted in a retail Amazon listing Friday, with the horrible prices of $520 and $450 attached to the 16 gig and 8 gig versions respectively. Now, I have noted many times before that of all pre-launch leaks, retail pricing is the most likely to be incorrect, as retailers need to create product SKUs and landing pages early and often use placeholder pricing while waiting on the real pricing from Nvidia or AMD. But real prices, MSRP or whatever you want to call them, are so rarely honored at present that I'm inclined to give a bit more credence to these kinds of listings, because this might be what Amazon wants to sell the 9060 XT for, and if that's the case, it probably will be the price, and it won't matter when AMD's feeble "here's the MSRP" announcement goes live, because AMD clearly isn't protecting consumers from predatory pricing by backing up their MSRPs with some form of enforcement with retailers. Case in point, the RX 9070 and 9070 XT, which I would love to recommend at their supposed $550 and $600 MSRPs, can't be found for less than about $900 here in the US, which is dumb, and I will continue to feel that way unless AMD also decides to disappear my family, I guess. These listings do seem to confirm the previously leaked specs though, with a 3.3 GHz boost clock. And now we boldly switch over to tech briefs, because one should never tech brief meekly. Intel Arc rumors are simultaneously the most hopeful and the biggest letdown when they come out, as there seems to be so much potential if Intel could just deliver. And unfortunately, it does not seem like they'll be delivering anything to interest gamers at Computex. A rumored 24 gig Arc GPU had some excited for the prospect of a B770 or B750 to follow up the popular, if only they were available at MSRP, Arc B580, but it is not to be. Intel confirmed that there'll be new Arc Pro Battlemage GPU series revealed at Computex, including a 24 GB Arc Pro B60, but they'll use the same BMG G21 chips as the B580. So other than in games where 12 GB of VRAM is a limitation, the Pro model will likely perform the same as the regular Arc B580. The Arc B580 was able to show itself off impressively in Suspect Steve's latest GPU comparison though, where the B580 went head-to-head against Nvidia's RTX 5060 Ti 8GB. While the 5060 Ti is typically 20 to 40% faster than the B580 when not VRAM limited, Steve showed it's not tough to go beyond 8 gigs, and you don't need to be playing at 4K or with max settings either. There are plenty of titles that chug or throw big frame delays up at 1440, and in those scenarios, the B580 clearly wins. Hopefully Jensen stopped watching after that first segment and I don't get in trouble for saying any of that though. In other Nvidia news looking for a bit of optimism, there have been quite a few articles like this lately, indicating that in some regions, GPU inventory has stabilized and pricing has become almost normal, if more than €2,000 for a GPU has become normal for you yet. Things still aren't great here in the US, where tariffs are a factor, but it does leave room for optimism that demand may abate as more units make it to market, leading to lower prices. And another factor might be the 5090D, which was supposed to be sellable in China due to hardware-limited AI capabilities, but has apparently also been export restricted, as it has the same GPU core count and memory as the regular 5090. This is still a rumor, but if true, I extend my sympathies to gamers in that region who had their sights set on a 5090D, but it does mean that Nvidia will likely attempt to sell those 5090D GPUs elsewhere, which could mean more 5090 class GPUs on the market outside of China. Lastly, a new Doom launched this week, The Dark Ages, which is available on PC and console, and seems to be getting good reviews thus far. 8.5s and 9s, with the game design looking appropriately dark, gory, and demon-infested, with a healthy array of melee weapons in true Dark Ages style, and reports of even more super fast and fluid FPS fun, which the series is known for. And with this being a single-player title, there's also a notably good storyline, which WCCF Tech describes as the icing on the extremely bloody and demonic cake. Sounds delicious, and now I'm all hungry. So, I guess it's time to say, so there you have it guys, tech news for the week. And if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all of the articles I talked about today are linked in the video's description if you're interested in reading more, and you can check out my store at paulshardware.net for high quality merchandise like t-shirts and hoodies and beer sets and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again everyone. Tech news will return June 1st, but I'll have more videos for you this week. Cheers.